semantics we learned, and some containers we discussed. In the containers, we learned about how we can use a field set. So field set, and how we can use details and summary. Field sets uses a legend, and details uses with summary. Details and summary, field sets, options, we have to use it, right? So after understanding the options, how to handle them, how we can deal with field sets and legend and details, some more containers are present we need to understand. So up to field sets and the details and the summary, I hope everyone practiced them, right? So everyone practiced that. So right, few more topics we need to discuss. Then with those topics, we can practice some exercises. So with the topics, we can practice some exercise. So one task I will upload today on Classroom. In the Classroom, I will upload a screenshot. You have to design that screenshot. So and submit as assignment. I will give you an assignment today. After the class is done, I will upload a screenshot into the Classroom as assignment. You have to design it and you need to submit it. Okay, right. Yeah. So next, after understanding the basic containers, how to use the field set and details. Now we have another option. So data list and data list, and we have details with the data list. How you can configure the data list? So data list and the data definition, actually data definition, data list and data definitions. So in the containers, so we have a data list and data definition. So what is data list and the data definition? Data list and data definition is nothing but, for example, suppose we are designing some content like this. So we have like web technologies. So web site. So it is a virtual directory. Okay. Web server. It satisfies the client request by sending and receiving data, something like this. So web page, so it is a hypertext document. Okay, now in this, actually we have some terms and definitions. You can see that in this website is a term. Under the term, this is definition. It can be a lengthy paragraph also. We can have terms and definitions. Now when I run this, you can see when we run this, you can observe that all will look as a one content. That means single line. In HTML, for terms and definitions, we have a separate concept. We have a separate option. So we can do that by using DL. DL defines data list. Inside data list, we will have DT. DT is used for data term, and DD, that is for data definition. That means terms are defined with DT and definitions are defined with DD. How to write them, we will see that. That means in this design that we created, this must be in data list. Okay, I will keep a data list DL. In that we will keep. In that website, web server, web page, they are data terms. That means website is a DT. It is a data term. And under that term, it is a virtual directory. That is data definition. So we have to keep in DD. That is data definition. Similarly, so web server is a data term. And this sentence is data definition, DD. So web page is a data term, DT. And web hypertext document, that is data definition. Actually, when you are writing terms and definitions, under a term, you will have definition. Sometimes terms, there can be several terms. Under several terms, you can have a definition. Under one term, there can be several definitions. So there is no specific rule for that. Actually, what we have to do here, is when you are configuring the terms and definitions, you see now the presentation, it looks like this. That means, so we have this website as a term, web server as a term, and definitions have left indentation. You can keep effects. So you can go to the style, and in the style, wherever data term is there, DT, I given font weight as bold. So terms will have bold. You can keep in this way. You can keep any effect, like I given some background color, so light gray, and you can see there will be a background color for them. That depends on your requirement. You can configure. You can keep alignment center anywhere. Terms and definitions. You will see that definitions will have little bit left indent. Remember, under one term, you can write several definitions. That means it is a virtual directory. So now under that, I can add one more definition, DD. So it comprises of resources. Now you can see that under that term, you have two definitions. Under one definition, you can have lengthy paragraph, or you can write multiple definitions. You can write multiple terms. So that means website, another term, web application, something like this. And for those two terms, you have these definitions. It's your wish according to your requirement. But usually a data list comprises of terms and definitions. Terms are defined as headers, and definitions as the details. Whatever you want, you can configure that. So this is a simple content for displaying the data. If you have some terms and definitions to show, then we can use this technique. Actually, with CSS, we can do this in a more better way also. With CSS, we can do in a more better way. Actually, for example, I will show you. Means with CSS, they can be used for different situations. So for example, suppose, so you are defining something like, okay, let's create here a simple data list. And here we are writing data term as a name, and data definition, some name, some Samsung TV, something like this. Another data term, so price, and data definition, some price. So here ampersand hash 8377 semicolon, that will put an Indian currency symbol. Another data term, stock. So data definition, some available. Like this we are writing. Now usually terms and definitions will display in this way. The terms and definitions. Now what I can do here is for the data list, DL, data list, I can give display as grid. And I am giving grid template columns as two fractions. One is I am giving two columns I want to divide. One is 2 fractions, another one is 10 fractions. So that means data list is divided into 2 columns, and you can see it will display in this way. That means side by side arranging the content. Suppose every data term and a data definition, data terms and data definition, I am giving like, so margin bottom as some 20 pixel, and the data term space will come. Generally you see, for example, we are designing something like resume, and the left side the fields will be there, right side the details will be there. This kind of presentation can be done with the data terms and definition. It's not like the terms and definitions will be, definition will be one below another. You can keep side by side. So depending on the requirement, how you want to present it. So this is terms and definitions. So that means whenever you are attending some interviews as a fresher, generally for freshers, they will give some system testing. Like they will give a simple screen design and say that you have to design this and send us. So that means in a majority of web development related interviews, at a fresher level, they give you a lot of tasks and say that you send these presentations to us, design this and show us. So that is the reason practically you need to be very perfect. And not only that, sometimes you have a doubt like how this is designed. So that means you know the concept, only the point is you need to know that how to present that concept according to the requirement they have given. That means many people, if I directly show like this, they will not think like this is data terms and definitions. They will think like it is just a normal columns division. But actually we designed a data term and a data definition and then divided into columns. Sometimes people think that it is like a table. It is a table, but it is not a table. So it is not a table. It's just data terms and definitions arranged in columns. This kind of presentation is very much important and required for us. So technically, how to present the terms and definitions so that you can give by using data list. So we have field set, we have a field set and legend, details and summary, data list and data definition. Next important, after understanding that in the body section, we have headings, paragraphs, block quotes. These are all simple options. Headings, paragraphs, block quotes, how to configure and how to define them. So headings, paragraphs, and block quotes. Actually, when you are presenting some content, so suppose I will give here again some content. When you are presenting some content on your page, suppose web technologies, and in that HTML. So it is a markup language. So CSS, it defines styles for HTML, and JavaScript, so it handles client-side interactions. Now in this, suppose we have headings. Now you see all will look in a single line. Now in this we have the headings, like web technologies is a heading. Under that, these are all child, HTML, CSS. We have heading. Generally, headings can be defined by using the tag HN, where N refers to level number from 1 to 6. Heading levels from 1 to 6. 1 to 6, gradually the heading levels will decrease. Heading levels will decrease from 1 to 6. So 1 is the largest one, and gradually it will decrease. What is the purpose of these headings? We will see that. Some questions will be there on this concept. Actually, so this web technologies, I will enclose that in a heading 1, H1, heading 1. Like this, you can give, so level numbers H1 and up to H6, level number 6. You can configure that. This is generally heading 1. Now you can see that by default heading have a special appearance. That means size, bold, font style separate. Now, and it have a line break above and below also. Now in interviews, one question asked regularly is, without heading also I can give appearance like this. Then what is the purpose of heading? Without heading also we can give. We can apply styles and we can display it in this way. Then the question is, why do we need headings then? Actually, headings is not for the person who is watching. For him, you design anyway, keep it in a special appearance, he will feel like heading only. But actually heading elements are used for making your content more SEO friendly, search engine optimization, SEO friendly, search engine friendly. That means generally the search engines can crawl over your page. They can identify the heading elements. What headings your page is having, it can identify them only when they are written with heading element. Without heading element, if you write headings with styles, you give font, color, size and everything, so then it will not recognize that as a heading. For example, I will show you a simple logic you can understand. Suppose see, so this is web technologies heading, okay. After that, HTML is heading 2 level. That means a subheading under this. CSS also same level, heading 2. JavaScript also same level, heading 2. Now you can see all will look like this. But what I am doing is, for CSS, I am not giving heading. For CSS, I will give some font, size is equal to some 7. So don't worry about what is font, how it works. I will show it. I will tell you about that later. Font size equal to 7 or 6, some font size I have defined, and I kept here bold, and I will say CSS like this. So now you can see when I put a break here, line breaks we are giving, and you can see that is the appearance it gives. After CSS also I will give line break. So line break, You can see that. So without that also the same effect I have given it. Suppose font size as 5, it will be in this way. And I am using break. So you can see it will display in this way. Without heading also we are giving that appearance. Without heading also I am giving that appearance. Those fonts all you will learn later, right? Without heading also we are giving it. For a person who is watching your website, he don't care whether you given a heading element or not. He will not care about whether you given a heading element or not. He will just see it as a heading. For him, it looks normal, like a heading like others. Doesn't have any difference. Now, but what is problem here is search engines can crawl over your page and they can identify how many headings are present, and they can pick those headings and they can make a summary of the headings. Summary of the headings means they will say that your page contains these topics. Headings are defined as topics. So search engines use headings to identify the topics that are present on your page and show in the search results. That can be done. For that, they will recognize headings only when you keep in a heading element, not with others. For example, I will show you, see, now I am writing a small logic. Don't worry what logic I am writing. Just observe the concept. I am writing a small logic here. So function body load. Later in JavaScript, you will learn about it. So where x equal to document dot get elements elements by tag name. Get elements by tag name. So heading 2. And I will put an alert total number of headings. Total number of headings. So I just given here x dot length. Total number of headings x dot length. And the body on load, I am loading just body on load. So that is body load, body load. You can observe here. So don't worry about this logic, just observe the concept. I written a logic to understand how many headings are present in the page. And you will see that it says that total number of headings are 2. Total number of headings are 2. So that means you can see that. So headings, so the headings that we have defined inside it, there are 2 headings. But of course, the main heading is present. And of course, another heading is there. So CSS. But it is unable to recognize because if it picks by this name, it will get only 2. This one will be ignored. It is not recognized as heading. It may look like heading, but it is not defined as heading. It will ignore it. That is the reason headings are used to make the content more search engine friendly. So that means many people ask the question, without heading also can I display? Without heading also you can display. But without heading, if you display, then it is not search engine friendly. It is not search engine friendly. That means search engines cannot recognize your content. So as heading, they will ignore that. But for user, it will be okay. For user, he can see it. For user, he can watch it. But for search engines, it's not possible. So that is the reason to make your page topics more search engine friendly. You have to define these headings. You have to configure these headings. Like this, we have how many heading levels? We have 6 heading levels. Gradually, heading levels 1 to 6 will decrease. That means, for example, I given heading 6, some welcome. You can see that heading 6 will be very small. Gradually, heading levels from 1 to 6 will decrease. Depending on level, you have to give the headings. So technically, one more question asked is, can we change the font of heading? Can we change the color of heading? You can do. After giving heading style, you can apply effects on that. That means wherever heading 1 is present, I can change its color to red. So I can set background color to yellow. I can change the font size also. I can give the font face family like some cursive. Like this, I can give the effects for the heading and I can change it. So I can give text align to center, text align to center. That means you can change its appearance after giving heading element. With your styles, we can configure and we can define. So, and we can specify that. Mr. Genius Manohar Reddy, I already told you that headings will have a line break above and below. Are you sleeping when I discussed that? Already I told you headings by default will have a line break above and below. Understood my English, Manohar Reddy? Understood my English? Right. Already we discussed that headings will have a line break above and below. Now again he is asking question why it is having line break, line space. I don't know what you are listening in the class. Understood, Mr. Manohar Reddy? Clear? Yeah. So headings by default have a line break above and below. That's why it looks like a header. And that is the reason generally when we are defining headings, that means one of the main concept is don't use headings. Don't use headings. Headings to highlight any word or any word or sentence in a paragraph. So you should not use heading to highlight any word or sentence in a paragraph. Why? Because if you try to highlight any word or sentence in a paragraph with heading, headings will break. By default, heading will not have anything beside them. So in that case, they will break the word and they will come to the next line. Automatically, they have a line break. Suppose I want to highlight this HTML. If you want to highlight the HTML, don't use headings. For example, for this HTML, I am using heading 5. And by default, headings will have a line break above and below. You cannot use headings for that. Use headings only for headings. Don't use headings for highlighting the content. One more important point is as much as possible. So use only little bit number of headings. Don't design lot of headings. There is no limit actually. There is no limit. But if your page is very lengthy, there is no limit. Understood? There is no limit. Now don't come with a question again that how many headings I can give. I am telling that we don't have a limit for heading. Okay. How many headings should be there? There is no limit for that. But if there are too many headings, that means you given 40, 50, 100 like headings. In that case, the page becomes very complicated. And search engines will think that you are trying to highlight too many topics on the page. And what they will do is they will spam the page. They will simply spam the page. That means they will not consider your page and show in the search results. That's the reason. So limited and the concept oriented headings only you need to define. Don't use heading everywhere wherever you need to highlight. If it is an important topic to highlight and for SEO, then use heading. Otherwise, I told you, without heading also you can highlight in such a way. So if you think the topic is important and that topic should be used in SEO, then you can give with the heading style. That's how you have to manage. Technically, So headings are used for this reason. That is the concept of heading. Next, paragraphs and block quotes. Paragraphs and block quotes also similar. Paragraphs, so when you are designing paragraphs, when you are configuring the paragraphs, generally what happens is, suppose you want to present a lengthy paragraph. So I will copy that here. Let's copy some paragraph. Usually, when you are displaying some paragraphs of information, so this is, we can keep in a div actually. We can keep in a div. That means we have a div, and in the div, we can keep the paragraphs. It div also a container. We have paragraphs. Now it will display all these paragraphs in this way. Div will keep the paragraph separated. But the problem here is, so every paragraph is just, because div means it's a block-like appearance. Block-like appearance means it will come with only, so next line, in the next line, the content will be displayed. But I want some space between the paragraph. Not only that, one more important is, so if you use a div, actually div means division. Now what happens is, it thinks that this topic is finished and this is second topic. That means it thinks that every div thinks that, so it is a separate topic. That means it thinks that these three paragraphs belongs to three different topics. But actually these three paragraphs belongs to the same topic. In that case, so now what we have to do is, don't use divs directly for paragraph. What you have to do is, first you need to keep a div. Inside this div, this is the container actually. This is the main container. Inside the div, you put a paragraph. So and you write a paragraph here. So you put a paragraph inside the div and keep it. Only paragraph, no other divs are required. Only paragraph like this you define. So that means now this is one paragraph. And similarly, another paragraph and another paragraph. Three paragraphs are presented in a div. So this indicates that these three belongs to one category. So that means they all belongs to certain topic. Now here you can keep a heading, and I will define a heading 3 style. I am writing here as web site, something like this. Now under that you have some paragraphs. This is how we present topics. Now you can see that these are considered as paragraphs under that topic. And paragraphs also have a line break above and below. Above one line, below one line. Now generally, sometimes, usually 100 out of 100, 90% of learners will have a doubt and they will ask immediately like, sir, after writing paragraph, I can give breaks. If I give 2 breaks before, 2 breaks after, then it will be looking like separated. But for this paragraph, if I want to change alignment, like left alignment, right alignment, center alignment, how you will give? It must be in one container. In the container, you keep the paragraph. And for that, you need to put the alignments. You can give line break after, before line break. So it will get a space between the lines. That is not only the concept. We need to keep the paragraph as a container so that we can change alignment. For example, I want suppose this paragraph centered. So for example, it has some content. Suppose I will give here, and for this paragraph, I am keeping some short content here. So some short content I am defining for the first paragraph, and it looks like this. I want to change its alignment for the paragraph. Then we can use an align attribute. Align attribute you can keep center. Now the paragraph will be centered. This is center alignment for the paragraph. You can give the alignment as left, center, right, or justify. I give justify, and the right side unevenness will reduce. So right side unevenness will reduce, raggedness will be reduced for the paragraph. You can configure the paragraphs and you can keep with a proper alignment. And paragraphs have a line break above and below. By default, they have a line break above and below. So I give here align. Align is equal to justify. Justify. Then it will keep the alignment for the paragraph justify. So whenever you want to present paragraphs, you can define that. You can define that, you can configure that by using this paragraph element. Paragraph elements are configured with P. And paragraphs by default will have a line break above and below. By default, they have a line break above and below. So technically for headings, use heading element. For paragraphs, use the paragraph element. Paragraphs and headings can have an align attribute. Directly you can give this alignment so as center. You can use that for headings also. So for heading, you can use an align attribute and you can keep it center. It will be center. So paragraphs, headings are defined by using these elements. You have a block quote. Generally, block quotes are same like paragraphs, but block quotes are designed with block quote. So block quote same like paragraphs, but block quote have left and right, you say left and right margins. Left and right margins are adjusted. That means you can see generally margins, left right margins will be adjusted. For example, see the first paragraph is actually the highlights of all the rest of the contents. It is the highlight. That means it's like summary. Then what I can do is for that first paragraph, instead of paragraph, I can use block quote. I can use block quote. Instead of paragraph, block quote. And here end with the block quote. And you can observe that block quote is also having same align attribute to justify. And the block quote will have some space left and right. That means the left margin and the right margin is adjusted. You can have only this much of margin by default. By default, only this much of margin will be there. And if you want more margin to adjust, you have to apply with the style. Now what you can do is you can write in the style block quote. For a block quote, you have to define left, margin left, margin left. Margin left I given as 100 pixels. And margin right also 100 pixels. Then it will increase more space. You can set more space, suppose 150 and 150, and it will put the left and right margins 150, adjust more space. By default, block quote have certain space of margin. You can adjust more. And I can give a different appearance for that block quote. Font style is italic. And you can see that font style italic, it will be italicized. You can keep the appearance in a different way. Generally, when you are displaying some content, and out of all the content, the top paragraph, you need to highlight that. Then instead of paragraph, you can define a block quote. You can configure a block quote instead of that paragraph. That is done by using a simple block quote option. That is done by using block quote. So block quote is same like paragraph. It also have line break above and below. But in addition to that, it have left and right margins. If you want more margin to set left and right, then you can use this left right margins. With CSS, you can give so many things. So block quote is only for entire paragraph. Sometimes people ask like, first line I want from some space. So that means generally for paragraph first line, they want some space. So such things we don't have in HTML. We have to define with CSS only. In CSS, you will learn how to make the first character large, how to make the first line indent. For that, we have to use CSS. In HTML, directly, we don't have any options that we have only block quotes and paragraphs. So that is the difference between the paragraphs and block quotes. So if you are making a summary of any content you want to highlight, then you can go with the block quotes and paragraphs and define them. Mostly we use these block quotes for that. So we have headings, we have paragraphs, and we have block quotes. Data list, headings, paragraphs, and block quotes. Is it clear to everyone, all these four things? Is it clear to everyone, all these four things? Data list, headings, paragraphs, and block quotes. Good. So what is the purpose and why we need them and how do we work with them? Right. Next important, after understanding this, now we need to know about ordered and unordered list. Ordered and unordered list. Ordered and unordered list. Usually, ordered list is nothing but auto numbering. Auto numbering for items. Actually, it is designed by using OL is for ordered list. This is for ordered list. And LI is for list item. It is list item. Ordered list and a list item. We have ordered list and list items. Generally, so how you configure the ordered list and list items? Let's see. Suppose you want to display some items collection and configure that. So let's create a page here. So ordered list .html. Okay, let's create a HTML page. So doc type HTML head title and ordered list. Okay, here in the body section, we are defining so a heading like web terminology. Okay, and here we are configuring OL, that is an ordered list. Inside the ordered list, we will have LI, list item. This list item I am defining as, suppose, website. Next list item, web page. Another list item like web server. All these are list items. And when you define list items in an ordered list, every list item, it will display with a auto numbering style. You can see that all will have an auto numbering. All will have an auto numbering 1, 2, 3. So what is advantage of this is when you add or remove any item from the list, it will update automatically. Suppose I am trying to add, suppose at the top, I am trying to add here. So network. Automatically that network will be taken as 1 and others numbering will be updated. If I am removing this web page, so I remove this web page, its number is removed and automatically it will update others. So numbering will update automatically when you are adding or removing the items. So ordered list is used for displaying auto numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. You can change the numbering. For ordered list, you can use the attributes as type. Type indicates what should be the numbering type. You can give numbering type as A lowercase, A uppercase, 1 that is number numeric 1. You can use I that is lower Roman, and I this is upper Roman. You can write like this. These are the number types you can give. Only these are available. Others you have to apply through styles, CSS only. These are only the number styles that are configured and we can use them. That means I can change the number type here. So I can write here type. Type is equal to A, uppercase. Then it will be uppercase A, B, C, D. I want to keep it lowercase. It will be lowercase A, B, C, D. I want to keep it Roman lowercase. It will be Roman lowercase. I am keeping as Roman uppercase. Then Roman uppercase will come. Generally, when you give number A, so A, B, C, D like this. Now, sometimes, generally people who don't have proper computer knowledge, means sometimes people don't even know basic computer operations also. And they start learning technologies. They don't even know any basic software of any computing technologies. Like even they don't know small concept of like MS Office or anything like that. So such people have often doubt like, sir, after 26, how the numbering will come? So that means this is the question regularly comes from the people who don't have computer knowledge. So because in basic computer technologies, if a numbering is given in any computing technologies, if a numbering is given as ABC, A to Z, it will give 26. Now, what is the number for 27th? What is the number for 27th? That is AA. AA is 27. So AB, that is 28. Like that, it will have AZ. After that, BA. So after that, BA, then BZ, CA, and CZ. Like that, ZZ. So after that, AAA. That is how general numbering happens. That is a very common concept in computer technologies. Why? Because if you know, you see, suppose I have Excel. But some people ask this like a complicated question. And by this question itself, we know we can come to a conclusion that you don't have any proper computer knowledge at all. So that means you see, suppose you are using Excel. In Excel, hundreds of columns will be there. And those columns numbering will be A, B, C, D. Now observe when I scroll right, after Z, it will be AA, AB. After that, AZ. After AZ, it will be BA, BZ. Like this, the numbering will be there, XFD. That is the last number it is having. So this is a very common concept in computer technologies. Anywhere in computing world, when a numbering is given as A, B, C, D, it will follow this mechanism. That's a very common concept. And here also, if there are so many more than 26, then of course it will follow the same mechanism. A, AB, AC, AZ, BA, BZ, CA, CZ like that. But if you have so many options, then better go with the numbers. You can have Roman letters, Roman uppercase, Roman lowercase, you can define that. So I given 1. By default, it is 1, 2, 3. You can see that it is giving that 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the numbering style it should give. Next important, after configuring this, after defining this, we have another important attribute. You can decide from where the numbering have to start. You have an attribute called start. Start indicates from which level numbering should start. Level number. Start always a number. Remember, start is expecting level number. So level number, I want to start from 56. then it will start numbering from 56, 56, 57, 58 like that. I said from 101, it starts from 101. From where numbering have to start, you can define that. So important is, suppose you are defining, so as A, B, C, and I want to start with E, then you should not write start E. Start is expecting only level number. It is expecting only level number. You should not write E. It is expecting the level number. Level number means you have to write 5. Then it will start with E, F, G, H like this. That is a basic thing. So you can put here as Roman, then it will get that Roman level number starting with 5. You can configure that level number from which level number it should start with. So start indicates from where the numbering should start with. You can define. By default, it starts with the 1. You can specify from where to start with. So you can specify from where to start with. So 2 important attributes are there. So one is type, another one start. One more new attribute introduced for this order list actually. Order list have type, ordered list have start. And in the latest versions, order list have an option reversed. A reversed numbering style is introduced into the latest versions. Unfortunately, this is not supported in several old version browsers. In old version browsers, reversed cannot be displayed, but in all modern browsers can show them. So you will find this working everywhere. If abnormally, if you are using any very old version of Internet Explorer like browsers and all, this reversed will not work. So it's a new one. Reversed is nothing but it is numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. Only this numbering will reverse 4, 3, 2, 1. Not these items. Items will not be displayed in reverse order. Only numbering. That means you put reversed. You put reversed. It will be like 4, 3, 2, 1. Items will be same. Generally, we use this kind of numbering, especially when you are adding a new item through JavaScript jQuery. And the last item should be at the top. The first item should be at the last. If you want to shuffle them and you want to show the latest numbering at the top, in these cases, we use this kind of techniques actually. That is reversed. Now here, actually, general doubts will come. Doubt is very, generally people have doubts because if you cannot think in a normal technical way, lot of doubts will come. Do you know what doubts generally general learners will have? Suppose if I given numbering as number type as 1, and I said start is equal to 2, and I said reversed. That means first number will be 2. After that number will be 1. After that number will be how much? After that number will be how much? Suppose there are more items. After that number will be how much? 0. After that number will be how much? After that number will be how much? After 0, minus 1. After that, minus 2. That's not a question to ask at all. If you know little bit of common sense of mathematics, you know that after 1, it will be 0, minus 1, minus 2. That's a general thing. Some people ask this as a very complicated doubt. Sir, what will happen after 0? After 0, what will happen? Don't know common sense of mathematics. After 0, what will happen? Minus 1, minus 2 will happen. That's a very silly thing. People ask this like a very complex question, right? That means several such silly points will be there. You need to understand by yourself and you should know them. For example, this is also, suppose I am giving A, B, C, D. That means I said B. Type is A. Then after B, next one will be A. Now tell me, after A, what will come? After A, what will come? After A, what will come? Do you have any reverse alphabets? Do you have any negative alphabets? Do you have any negative alphabets? No negative alphabets. If there are no negative alphabets, then again it will be 0, -1 and -2 like this. Understood, everyone? Understood? That means if there are no negative things, then automatically it will take a number on. Automatically it will take a number. Some people have very complex doubts about this because usually they don't think so in depth about it. That becomes a doubt for them, right? What will happen if I do like this? So it's a very simple, straightforward concept. For example, I said start is equal to some 2. Now when start is 2, then obviously it will be 2, 1, 0, -1. That's the general approach. Suppose I given type as A, B, C, D, then it will be like, so BA, 0, -1, same. Right? If I given Roman letters, you can see that it will be 2, 1, after that 0, -1. Only for numbers it will have a proper mechanism, or for others it will give in this way. So reversed is a very simple and straightforward option to use. You can configure the contents in a reverse order. This is a new option. So new attribute actually. So ordered list will have type, will have start, and will have reverse. These 3 are important attributes. Ordered list can be nested. Ordered list can be nested. Nested means inside that you can add one more item. For example, see, suppose I am writing ordered list. In that list item, HTML, another list item, so JavaScript. 2 items are present. So HTML, JavaScript. Under HTML, I want some more list. Nothing special. So under HTML word, if you want some, use another order list. And the list item. So we say normal elements. Another list item. So like void elements. Like this I'm writing. Under JavaScript, I want same. Under JavaScript, another order list. So list item. Here we say variables. So here we will say like data types, something like this. Now, generally, you need to understand that. So for first level, if I give type is equal to Roman letters. For second level, I will give type is equal to 1, 2, 3. Same I will follow for others also. Second level type is equal to 1, 2, 3. And you can see that it will display the numbering in this way. So at the first level, the numbering is this. At the first level, the numbering is Roman 1, 2. And at the second level, the numbering is 1, 2. You can write any number of levels, but unfortunately you can write any number of levels, but we have only few levels of numbering. We have only few levels of numbering. Few levels of numbering means 1 Roman alphabet, lower alphabet, Roman letters lower and uppercase. Only these you have. So you give 5 levels. After that 6th level, you have to repeat them again. Or you can use a combination of ordered list and unordered list. That means you can give numbers and symbols combination. Symbols, how to keep, we will discuss later. We can give a combination of numbers and symbols also. That can be done. Suppose under normal elements, I want another. Then inside that normal elements, you can use another ordered list and a list item. So here for this, I can give the type as A. And the list item here I can define as like bold, another list item like italic, like this. And it can give multi-level numbering style and define the multi-level numbering style. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we have this kind of numbering style and displaying the numbering style. We have this nested list of numbering and configuring the nested list of numbering. Generally, when you are keeping the ordered list, you have in this format of configuring the order list, defining the format of order list. 1 second. Hello. Yes, right. So generally, one more important regular question asked here is when you are dealing with this kind of ordered list and ordered list. Sometimes people ask like, I want side by side, side by side. So side by side. You can define side by side. Why? Because already we know styles. Through styles we can give. By default, list items will be not side by side. List item will be one below another. You can keep side by side also. That's not a big concept. For example, suppose I am writing an ordered list. In that list item, so like home, another list item like about, another list item like contact, such options are present. Another list item like some help, something like this. And you see that all will be one below another, but I want side by side. It's easy. So what we have to do is in the style, we need to keep the ordered list and just write display, or you can put not for ordered list, just for list item. You can keep display as inline. Display inline for list item will keep the list item side by side. And automatically the numbering also will be removed for them. So if you want numbering also, then what you can do is you can write like this. For unordered list, display, you have to write flexible, then it will be flexible. And you need to keep the not an unordered list, ordered list. Yeah, ordered list should be flexible. It will be like this. And you need some space now. Space means for every list item. So margin, right margin 50 pixels. Then it will keep some space between them. If you don't want numbering, you can remove numbering. For ordered list, you can write list style as none. List style none will remove the numbering style. It will remove the numbering style. You can keep the list items like this. It will remove the numbering style. For every list item, if you want, you can define width as some 130 pixels. You can set border as 2 pixels solid. You can keep padding as 5 pixels or 4 pixel. You can keep background color as red. You can keep color as white. All these can keep and like this. You can keep text align as center. You can see they will be centered. That's the appearance. Generally, we give with list items, ordered list and list item. That is the appearance for configuring the items and displaying the items. So we have an ordered list, display flex will keep side by side. And list style none will remove that numbering. You can keep side by side. For every list item, you can keep effects. You can define effects. Now this is numbering. Now instead of numbering, you have symbols. Star symbol, like dot symbol, like square symbol. You can put symbols for numbering. You can put your own symbols also for that items. So that is called unordered list. Now with unordered list, we can put the symbols and configure the symbols. Now, how do you use that unordered list and how we design with unordered list? We will see that. That we'll see in our next session. Okay, tomorrow we will discuss about that. Tomorrow we will see some examples, and tomorrow we will design like toolbars. How toolbars are designed by using this ordered list and unordered list. In real world projects where we use this ordered list and unordered list very regularly. Once some examples we will see, and some exercises we can practice now. That we will discuss in the next session. Tomorrow we'll see that. Okay.